Hello YouTube. So today I didn't really know what to make a video about, so I decided to talk about things I love. And of course, when I think about things I love, one of the first things that comes to mind is various books. And so I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite books today. Alright, book number 1, The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini. Sorry, I probably mispronouncing that. Incredible book about growing up in Afghanistan. I'm not sure if it's a true story, but I know the author did grow up in Afghanistan, so it's definitely based on his experiences there. Really heartwarming story, and I think it really helped me understand what everyday life in a country like Afghanistan in the Middle East is like, and understand the culture there and the way it works. And just incredible story. It follows basically his whole life from birth to around when he's like 50 or 60. And in fact, it's so good that like the first 4 or 5 pages are all 3 of these pages are just all incredible reviews from the book. It's one of the best books I've ever read. Sticks with you for years. I haven't read it in like 2 years, and I still remember the story and everything. It's an incredible book. Definitely one you should check out. Mar by Malpeat. Incredible book about 2 spies in Nazi-occupied Holland and their granddaughter. It jumps back and forth between flashbacks of the granddaughter finding out about her grandpa and his role in the war, and then the actual story of her grandpa. Unbelievable book. Keeps you on your feet. You never know what's coming next. Incredible, gut-wrenching, amazing story. You just can't. I can't emphasize how incredible this book is, how incredible the story is, and how much it will just make you feel love and hate at the same time for the characters, and just very interesting. Very much a story of growing old and sort of having to deal with your past. Highly recommend you check this one out. Paper Towns by John Green. I know I mentioned the movie recently. Not going to talk about that now. I don't trust myself. I feel like it's been turned into a rant. But anyways, the book is incredible. Tied for my all-time favorite book. A lot of people talk about it as like a bad romance novel. I think it's because they think it's a romance novel, which in my opinion, it's not at all. Just because there's no really substantive romance. Which is why, spoiler alert, it's a bad romance novel if you categorize it as a romance novel. I think the big theme of it is how we tend to simplify people into boxes. Like, oh, this person... It's like, if you've ever seen The Breakfast Club, incredible movie, we use the simplest definitions, like the dropout, the junkie, the princess, the jock, the nerd, the basket case. Yeah, like, we tend to simplify and divide people into these boxes, and this book talks about when you think of anyone as anything other than a person, it won't work. Everyone's a person. If you don't think of them like that, it's extremely destructive. One of the quotes I love in here is from my favorite band. People say friends don't destroy one another. What do they know about friends? It's from the song Game Shows Touch Our Lives by the Mountain Goats. Great band. I'll talk about them more in another video probably. But this book is incredible, especially if you're a teen going through high school now. I think it also talks about sort of the packaged American dream that I think we view as a society. The idea that everyone goes through high school, then college, then buys the house with the lawn and the car, gets married, and has like 2 kids or whatever. I think it talks a lot about how like we have sort of made that the ideal and the standard for society. Yeah, it's a really interesting read, really good. It's short. I read it in under 24 hours. I just could not put it down. Highly recommend you check it out. Read it before you see the movie. Please do yourself a favor. Read it before you see the movie. The next book I want to talk about, I don't actually have a copy of. Ernest Hemingway, Old Man in the Sea. Incredible book. Blew my mind. Amazing. A little slow at first. Seems a little weird, but extremely thought-provoking. Something you could read probably 100 times and still not understand exactly what you think the book is saying. Incredible book. Please read it. Please. It's one of the best books I think ever written of all time. Next book is a little bit different. Feast for Crows. And actually, I'd hold all 5 here, but I don't have all of them with me, and it'd be hard to hold. But I'm mostly talking about the Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin, which include Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings, Storm of Swords, Feast for Crows, and Dance of Dragons. And yes, they were a book series before they were a movie, or before they were a TV show. Please read the books. They're, in my opinion, so much better, so much deeper TV shows. All sort of subtleties that they had to cut out for the show. They're also changing stuff in the show now, especially in the newer season, that I think is really key to the books. So please read these. They are longer, I will admit, but if you are like long books and are good with complicated and incredible plot twists and are ready to have your mind blown in every single way and have your heart crushed, and brought back up and then crushed again, but eventually brought back up. And yeah, one of the best parts about this book is there are no good guys, but there's also no bad guys. Each faction has its own motives, and it just is extremely thought-provoking, and you really have to wrestle with the fact that in the world today, there really isn't a good guy, bad guy. It's not like the Lord of the Rings. I mean, it is like the Lord of the Rings in the fact that it's incredible and it's fiction, fantasy fiction, but it's not like the Lord of the Rings in the fact that it's the good versus the evil lord. It's just so much more complex, and I think much more realistic view of the world. Yeah, fantastic read. Please read all 5 of them. You will never forget. Incredible books. Alright, so now we're going to move to a little bit slightly different genre of books, including history and stuff. The first one is Lies My Teacher Told Me, the 2nd volume, I believe, by James W. Loewen, author of Lies Across America. This is a fascinating book about misconceptions a lot of people have about the history of the United States, specifically through high school history courses, which I am currently taking. If you are a high school student, please read this book. It is amazing. Even just read the first chapter or 2 will make you rethink so much of what you've learned and just ask good questions. And I'm not saying everything in here is like 100% authoritative and that like he's the only person who understands, but I think reading multiple opinions on history is key to actually understanding what happened, especially in a country like America, which sadly kills me that we do this, but insist on glorifying ourselves as the best country in the world, which we are not. I will probably make a video about that, but that's for another time. Anyways, incredible book. Talks about awesome things. In fact, the next book I'm going to be talking about, the author Howard Zinn gave a review of this, and it's very good. I'm not sure if you can read that, but you should. The next book, Howard Zinn's The People's History. Very similar book. I actually got to use this as a history textbook last year, thanks to my incredible, awesome history teacher, Mrs. Hood. If you are watching this, you are awesome. Favorite teacher of all time at this point, and probably forever. Incredible book. Please read it. Will make you rethink everything, like I said, about history. Shows such a better side and a more true side of America, while also, I think, showing what makes America unique and so diverse. Yeah, it's just awesome. Please do yourself a favor. You will be so much more well-read and understand so much more about the world if you read this book. It is a little hard to get through. I've gotten through about a third of it in about a month of reading. But please, just read it, chip away at it. It's fascinating. It goes through everything from pre-colonial times all the way up through like the 1980s. And then he made a second edition that even goes even farther. It's just a great book. Please check it out. If you're a teacher and you're watching this, consider using this as a textbook, or at least introducing it to your students, because it's awesome. Next book's a little bit different, but sort of falls in that history, political. It's called The Candidate by Samuel L. Popkin. Popkin. Great book about political campaigns, specifically primaries for presidents. Fascinating book. Highly recommend you read it, especially if you're old enough to vote. Makes you understand the system and help you be able to vote smarter. It's not I wouldn't say it's a political book, because it's very non-partisan. It does not talk about specific issues or bash on either party at all. It really just talks about campaigns and how they're run and mismanaged campaigns. Specifically, I think it talks about George H.W. Bush's re-election campaign, Hillary's 2008 run for the nomination, which she lost to Obama, Al Gore, and then it talks about a few others here and there, including Bill Clinton and Rudy Giuliani. Incredible book. Taught me so much about politics and what to look for in political campaigns and how to be a more smarter, intelligent, informed voter. Please, if you're a voter, read this book. Do yourself a favor. Do the country a favor. Learn a little bit more about the system. The last book I'll be talking about today is a sort of how-to book, Fluent Forever by Gabriel Weiner. Got this for Christmas from my awesome brother. One of the best books I've ever read. Talks about all sorts of things about language learning and the culture of language learning and how to learn languages effectively. This guy has learned 6 languages fluently since graduating high school, sort of debunking the myth that you have to learn while you're young. Incredible read. Talks about a few key aspects of how pronunciation plays a big role. I've only had this book for a few months, but I have been able to use it a lot, and I think his methods are really legit. Not a scam at all. Please do yourself a favor if you're interested in learning or relearning a language. Pick this up, read it. Alright, thank you for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed. I'll probably be talking about books again. I really like reading, and I have a few other books I wanted to talk about that I didn't have here today. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. If you're interested, you can check out my channel. I have some other videos there of a variety of things, from me dyeing my hair to dancing robots to my thoughts on internet culture. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.